There's a set place where the player is supposed to go. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And then from there, it's what's inside of you.
You can't explain that. You can't play-by-play that. You can't tell somebody what I just saw. Holy smokes!
What he had, you can't coach. You're born with that.
Forget the big red S. Superman wears a 2 and 8 on his chest. He's amazing. Wow. What else can Marshall Faulk do for this football team?
With the second pick in the first round, the Indianapolis Colts select Marshall Faulk, running back, San Diego State.
My first game, regardless of how confident you are, you have doubt. And the question for myself was, can you play this game on this level?
I predict he'll break the big one very soon.
I think he said something.
This is a new star in Indianapolis.
But they've not scored. Now Carlson with a deep drop against a big rush. A great play. And now running with the ball is Marshall Faulk off of Harbaugh's throw.
Jim Harbaugh said it first. He said, isn't it nice to have a guy who is touted to be great, who gets the big contract and actually is great?
Makes it very easy to do this no-huddle offense. The home run ball, that's Marshall Faulk, complete.
Having a linebacker locked up with the kind of speed that Marshall has, you can get into trouble if you don't have some safety help, and that's what you saw.
Seeking to get a split of the season series. Marshall Faulk with the run. Marshall Faulk caught from behind. And they give it to Faulk. And he has the first down and more. He rips right by Glenn for the touchdown. Oh, what a move by Marshall Faulk.
The ball at the Seahawk 45. They'll give it to Marshall Faulk, who burst through the middle, and now it's a foot race.
He's gone.
Forget it. Marshall Faulk touchdown.
And let's see what Marshall Faulk can do as he has picked up 20, 30, 40, 41 yards.
Oh, there goes that fake.
And Marshall Faulk, look at this. Marshall Faulk setting a record that may never be broken.
They had 12 men on the field for a minute. Harbaugh whips it downfield to Faulk. It's a great catch. Marshall Faulk at the 23-yard line. First down, Indianapolis.
Dilger in motion. Marshall Faulk changing direction with a great cutback to the 5. Touchdown. Harbaugh buying time, winging it to the end zone for the touchdown.
This is an outstanding catch by Marshall Faulk.
3 tight ends in for the Colts on 3rd down and 1, and Faulk has the first down. Marshall Faulk is in for 6. And on 1st down, Marshall Faulk again dancing free. Faulk is in for another touchdown.
That's his value. I mean, you just have to keep giving him the football. That cutback, you can't coach. I mean, a running back comes in the game, they either have that cutback skill or they don't. Faulk has it.
Have you ever seen a better back?
He is the best performance we've seen all season.
Marshall Faulk turns the corner, stop and go, touchdown.
Whoa! Which impressed you more, his ability to stop or start? He did both in that particular sweep.
And straight ahead, Marshall Faulk rocking the end down, and he's going to take it all the way down and in.
Boy, he's great to watch. He just picks up those feet and cuts. Brilliant vision. He's got it all.
The instincts, quickness and speed and the vision.
He didn't look like much when you saw him. But when he had that rock in his hand and he was moving around, he was a beast. He could do it all.
At any moment, Marshall Faulk can break a game open.
Wow. Wow, did we just say that he's the center of the offense? Did we just say he's a pure runner? Once he gets that ball, he turns into a pure runner. And watch the moves and watch the vision.
Faulk. Big hole left side. Marshall Faulk. Touchdown. Faulk again. Huge hole off the right side. Marshall Faulk. Covering up the ball. Zordich makes the catch at the 47. Faulk on the toss. Marshall Faulk, touchdown! Marshall Faulk
Looks for a block from Crockett, got it, and has the touchdown. Colts take over, first down. Marshall Faulk breaks to the outside, cuts back. Nice run by Faulk. Still on his feet, bouncing off tacklers. Got free from another. He's at midfield and knocked out of bounds at the 45 of the Bills. Does that look like the Marshall Faulk of old?
Not everybody can break this amount of tackles. 4 tackles missed on that play.
Kelly Holcomb. They know what he wants to do. Faulk on the screen, waits for a block. Good idea. And there goes Marshall Faulk into the secondary. What a run by Faulk.
Look how calm this guy is. Now wait, let's talk patience. Patient. Let's talk patience. Patient. And then explosion right here.
On first down, Marshall Faulk around the right side. Back to the 30. Running roll, and off he goes.
2nd and 4, fake reverse. Marshall Faulk, wide open field. And there goes Marshall Faulk. Still on his feet and finally slowed down inside the 10. Marshall Faulk. Faulk again. And Faulk falls down a couple of jets with him at the 22-yard line.
And Marshall Faulk just does a good job in picking his way through the hole and then accelerating after he gets through it. This is the best I have seen Marshall Faulk play since his 2nd year in the pros.
Here is Faulk. Marshall jumps to the outside, cuts back in, keeps going, has the touchdown.
Quick pitch to Faulk, cuts it up the middle, follows the blocking, touchdown! Marshall Faulk dives into the end zone.
For Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts to go out of the shotgun. He's looking for Faulk out of the backfield. He's got him wide open in the middle. Marshall Faulk off to the races. He breaks that tackle. He is gone.
He's gone.
30, 20, touchdown Indianapolis. A 78-yard pass to Marshall Faulk.
Harrison, the motion man once again. They fake the reverse. Manning wide open in the end zone. Touchdown Marshall Faulk. 19 yards.
Here's the handoff to Faulk and the sweep to the left side. Breaks the tackle, cuts back. He's got some room. There are no flags. He's being chased by Darnell Walker. It's a foot race. Faulk is in for the touchdown. A 65-yard electrifying moment on the first play for Marshall Faulk.
Manning takes a look. Dumps it up the middle. Marshall Faulk is running in the open field. And he's not done as he turns the corner. Heads for the out of bounds.
Marshall Faulk has been Mr. Everything for the Colts.
My head was spinning. I had a lot on my plate and, trying to learn this NFL style of football. And Marshall will be right next to me, and he'd be reading the defense like a quarterback would, and he would be helping me out. Hey, Peyton, this linebacker's blitzing. Hey, it's going to be zone. He could see things. Marshall was a real source of comfort for me.
Watch this. Brian Cox can't get there, but a one-handed stab by Marshall Faulk.
Not the most ideal down and distance if you're trying to win this football game. So I just dumped a little 3 or 4 yard pass down to Marshall. And it's basically him versus 11.
Breaks a tackle. He's got the first down.
I can remember just watching their jet sideline, Parcells and these guys, just the look of disgust on their faces. How could you let that running back outrun all of y'all and get the first down? One of our 3 wins that year, but it felt like we just won the Super Bowl.
Play fake. Manning, very deep drop. Throwing the long ball towards the end zone. Faulk is there. Marshall Faulk comes down with it. Touchdown, Indianapolis. On the give, Marshall Faulk up the middle. Marshall Faulk, he's off to the races. Down the sideline, Faulk. He's gone. He has been a one-man wrecking crew here in the first quarter.
Marshall Faulk is running like a man that will not be denied this afternoon. He is making a statement for the Indianapolis Colts. You talk about MVPs of a team. No question, Marshall Faulk, probably the National Football League, the things he can do. This reminds me of Marshall Faulk at San Diego State when he just rolled up yardage on the ground through the air.
192 yards rushing, the best total of his NFL career.
Manning looks, throws near side. Marshall Faulk puts a move on and he goes in. Marshall Faulk up the middle.
A ball game. Faulk again, the ball carry, nothing up the middle, cuts it to the inside, breaks a tackle, 5, touchdown Faulk!
I think the relationship became somewhat torn to the point where it was unrepairable. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to get you out of here. And he was very disappointed. He said, I think they're building something very special here. I think Peyton's going to be good. And I told him, I said, look, I'm trying to get you to a better team. I wanted to get him on grass, somewhere where it's warm, West Coast. And I was 0 out of 4.
We were at the owners' meetings in March, and John Shaw came to me, our president, and said, Dick, you know, the word's out that Marshall Faulk is available for a trade.
The Rams draft day running back arrived a few days early. 3-time Pro Bowler Marshall Faulk delivered for the bargain price of a 2nd and 5th round pick in Saturday's draft.
You know, you never want to leave. I thought I'd finish my career in Indianapolis, but now I'm here, and I hope to finish here. I was willing to do whatever they needed me to do, wherever they needed me to line up. The knowledge that I had about what we could do, what I could do, whatever it was, I was going to help the team win.
Faulk, look at this, making people miss inside the 20-yard line.
Marshall Faulk, first down and more. Down the sidelines, Faulk is forced out of bounds by his former Colts teammate. It was certainly shocking.
It was.
Warner to Faulk, penalty marker. Faulk breaks free. Touchdown!
Oh, man. And here's why Faulk's so dangerous. Catches the ball, yes. Makes one guy miss. 2 guys miss. 3 guys miss. Great balance, great speed.
When you talk about Mike Martz, you think of the crazy offensive scientist in his lab just creating anything and everything. And then you think about the perfect ingredient, you know, the ingredient that makes everything more powerful, and that's Marshall Faulk.
This was a terrific job by Mike Martz in understanding what Marshall Faulk could do, recognizing his unique set of attributes that allowed him to become an explosive player with the St. Louis Rams.
The Rams working some absolute magic with Marshall Faulk. He goes that way. Not only the first down, but the touchdown. St. Louis Rams. Pitch it to him. He's in the Falcon territory and then some. One man to beat. Marshall Faulk tripped up.
Going into the 99 season, we were a very good football team. When he got there, the horsepower went from like a 300 horsepower to 500 horsepower.
Look at the move. Marshall Faulk.
I tell you, folks, you know, if you can get a ticket, you got to come out and watch this guy play. This guy is something, man. He is really something.
We didn't block anybody.
That was a hell of a run.
Can you tell me why we paid that guy that much money? That was sweet there.
Warner, and a good pass out to Marshall Faulk. One man to beat. Marshall Faulk beating Robertson and going into the end zone for a touchdown.
One play that always stands out for all of us, and we remember it, it's on a couple of our highlight videos. It was in Tennessee. We don't have any timeouts. We're trying to get a field goal and put it into overtime. And I hit Azakim on a throw, and he gets hit, and he's slow getting up. We're all kind of like, get up, you know, just kind of watching him like, come on, we're gonna run out of time.
But Marshall, again, being cerebral, knowing what's going on, knowing the surroundings, had the sense of mind to run, pick our eyes up, get him, help him get lined up, get back to his position, and we clocked it.
Big play! Way to go, Marshall!
He knew how to get himself ready. He knew how to prepare. He was mentally going to be better than everybody he played against.
And one thing that he taught me was, first thing a back does when they line up is they look at the safeties for run support. Because if he does break out, he wants to know who's got the run and who he has to beat by himself.
He would manipulate the linebackers or safeties with his eyes. He would look a certain way and stare that way to get them to kind of cheat over, and then he'll go the opposite way.
Oh, tries the other side. Faulk. He's going to the end zone. Touchdown, St. Louis, no flag.
3rd and 5, and he has Faulk, who makes a nifty move to the end zone. Faulk able to avoid 3 would-be tacklers. A huge gain for Faulk, still on his feet inside the 30-yard line.
Memo to defensive coordinators, anything is possible.
And there's the screen pass, and it's caught. And Marshall Faulk out of the pack.
Watch the timing he has. Watch how he just sets things up. The movement there. Percy Ellsworth makes a major mistake. See, he waits on him right there. See, by just that little hesitation, he gives him an extra 10 yards.
From the 25-yard line, 3 wide receivers set. Ernie Conwell in the game at tight end. And Waters' pass is deflected into the hands of Faulk. Marshall Faulk made the catch after it was bobbled by Torrey Holt. from the Bears 48. Warner dumps it off to Faulk. Marshall Faulk racing towards the end zone for the touchdown. 48 yards.
That's like one of those marquee monster movies.
Warner to Faulk. Marshall Faulk down the sidelines. Forced out of bounds.
You cannot cover him with a linebacker. Well, that's what the Bears try to do. And really, there isn't a linebacker in the league that can cover Faulk.
Faulk escapes the tackle attempt from Mike Wells. And it's Azuma again. Warner out of the shotgun, a high snap. Shovel pass to Faulk. And he is in for the touchdown. Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk has surpassed Barry Sanders' record for total yards from scrimmage in a season. Faulk now at 2.369 on the year, and the Rams have 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. Marshall Faulk off the left side across the 30, 35-40, 45-50. He's in Eagles territory. 40, 30. He's still going. 20, 15. Down he goes. A big gainer for Marshall Faulk.
His tops.
Try to run the screen pass, and they do to Marshall Faulk. Faulk to the 20. Faulk at the 10, he's going to score.
Bob and weave.
And that's exactly what Marshall Faulk did the first time he has touched the ball.
And watch how quickly, after he catches that ball, he just explodes.
Warner hands off Marshall Faulk, right side, spins his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Rams.
The St. Louis Rams are Super Bowl bound.
Quick snap, 2nd and 10, and it frees Faulk down the sideline. Walker has an angle on him, and the last guy to get him knocks him out of bounds.
St. Louis, the gateway to the West, is now the gateway to the best football team in the world.
Does it feel like you've imagined all these years?
Oh my God, it's better than what I even thought it would ever be. I reached out to Emmitt Smith because I wanted to know, is it different after you are the champ? What happened? I wanted to make sure people knew that we were not a fluke, that we were real.
And the pitch goes to Marshall Faulk. Touchdown. 2nd of the game for Faulk.
On 2nd and goal, they give to Faulk again. Left side, he's in. Touchdown, Rams.
People would not miss a game. You could not get a ticket to a Rams game. And the dome rocked. And it was great to be in there. We ruled the city.
11 plays, 11 passes for the Rams, and here comes number 12 into the end zone. Touchdown! It's Marshall Faulk with his 7th score of the year. He throws it wide open. It's Marshall Faulk for an easy touchdown. Oh, my. Marshall Faulk breaks through the hole, spins away, and here he goes.
This isn't a bad Atlanta defense. The teams they play, San Diego Chargers, aren't a bad defense. This offense is just amazing.
205 yards rushing, season high in the NFL by Marshall Faulk, and a career high for him. Faulk again, take it on in, touchdown!
From the time they got the ball with 4 minutes left, every play has been to Marshall Faulk.
Marshall was the glue for everything, he really was.
Marshall Faulk was the key to that offense because the ability to be a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in the same game was a threat every game with Marshall Faulk.
Brent Green drills it, touchdown, and Marshall Faulk with his 4th touchdown of the day.
That's the advantage of having Marshall Faulk out there, who's a running back with receiver skills.
Green going to the end zone, and it's caught by Faulk. Touchdown, Rams.
This Ram offense is something special, especially here on this field.
I just didn't know how much my game and how I played was made for turf. It was just made for turf. Unlike grass, some of the cuts that you make, it's like cheating because you don't have to worry about your foot sliding from underneath you.
Touchdown, Marshall Faulk. 4th running.
We're riding your back, baby. We're riding your back. Carry us, baby.
Without Marshall, we're not the greatest show on turf. We're not, in my opinion, the greatest offense that's ever played. He was the difference maker.
Hole for Faulk, all the way to the end zone. Marshall Faulk in again.
you better be able to adjust. You better be able to change things on the fly, because if not, it's going to be a long day.
3rd and 9. They're bunched up front for the Bucs. Warner throws, and getting open was Faulk. Touchdown, his 3rd of the night.
Look at this matchup here. Chidi Ahanatu on Marshall Faulk. Are you kidding me? They'll take that every time.
Trying to end that spell. Here goes Faulk. His 4th touchdown of the game, and he's the first player in the history of the NFL to score 4 touchdowns in a game 3 times in a season.
I think there were times in the second half of the 2000 season when he put that team on his back. No better example than the season finale at New Orleans.
Pressure coming up and a swing pass to Faulk. He's at the 5, and Marshall Faulk goes in for the touchdown. And now Faulk needing only 1 touchdown to tie the NFL record for most scores in a season. The automatic first down, and here is Faulk off the left side. He's going to go in. Touchdown for Marshall Faulk, and he has tied Emmitt Smith for the most touchdowns in a season with 25. Marshall Faulk leaping and scoring, and Marshall Faulk has set an NFL record with his 26th touchdown of the season, breaking Emmitt Smith's mark set in 1995.
4:01 remaining in regulation. Warner flush, throws over the middle, that is caught. Faulk, Marshall inside the 10, Marshall to the end zone.
We had some injuries. We let 2000 get away from us, but we're back.
Faulk again. Faulk into the end zone.
That was a heck of a cut by Marshall Faulk. Here's what Marshall Faulk can do. This is what he talks about, patience. You know, that this is a play that was going to the right side of the offensive line. He cuts it back to the left side, looks ahead, thinks about the next guy, and starts making a move on him.
That is unusual. Fake to Faulk, and the throw, and the pass to Faulk. Out of bounds, touchdown. No, he got it in. He went right over the pylon. And Warner looking for Faulk, chased, grabbed, touchdown! How in the world? Oh my, to Marshall Faulk!
I think the 2001 team was better than the 99 team. We were just scratching the surface in 99. The 2001 team, we embarrassed some teams.
I think we got our swagger back.
Conwell in motion, a toss to Faulk. First down, touchdown. Marshall Faulk. It's 6-0 St. Louis. No flags. From the 20 on first down is Marshall Faulk testing the right side, and he's down the sideline again. Cutting it back, now back to the sideline. Whoa, and brought down inside the 25.
2 parts to this play. One is Marshall Faulk's speed getting to the corner. Now watch him in traffic here. He's not going out of bounds. He doesn't even know it exists. His ability to shift gears and then at the end to be able to spin, fighting for every yard.
A tough time with Kevin Gilbride. Hand off to Faulk. Touchdown.
You can't find a guy as versatile as a Marshall Faulk. I don't know if there's ever been one in the National Football League.
Touchdown, Marshall Faulk.
The matchups that you could get with him were just incredible. And then they would put an extra DB, and that guy was supposed to cover him one-on-one. That's not going to happen.
Warner gets to Marshall Faulk. Touchdown.
He was an absolute nightmare for a defensive coordinator to game plan because you didn't know where 28 was going to line.
One of Marshall's basic routes where he acts like he's going into the flat and he comes over across the middle on a delay route. Still to this day, we call it the Faulk route, but nobody ran it like Marshall did.
Marshall Faulk could have been a top 5 or 10 wide receiver in the National Football League.
How does Marshall Faulk come out of the backfield and get that open?
Marshall Faulk. No contest. Marshall Faulk. There he goes. Touchdown, St. Louis Rams.
Give it to Faulk. He knows the way. First and goal at the 4. Why not Faulk again? Why not a touchdown?
untouched. At the half. 3rd down and 4. Faulk into the flat. He's got the hat trick. 3rd touchdown for Marshall Faulk. And Marshall Faulk again for his 4th touchdown today.
Heading for 2,000, needed 79 today. Faulk carries, big hole. Faulk fights his way inside the 40. Ray Buchanan takes him down at the 38. 1st and goal at the 3. Faulk to the goal line. Touchdown Rams. Put another one up for Marshall Faulk. His 59th as a St. Louis Ram. That's a franchise record. Even with a big lead, Marshall Faulk finds the hole, spins, still going. There goes Marshall Faulk, trying to outrun everybody. Hudson drags him down at the 31.
Watch the spin move he puts right there on Brookman. And then the cutback when he sees the safeties going to the right. You can't stop that.
1st and 10 to Green Bay 49. The handoff is to Marshall Faulk. And I don't know if you're going to get him or not. The motion to both directions, and Marshall Faulk barrels into the end zone.
When things were tough for us, we were seeing something defensively we were struggling with or couldn't handle. The one thing you know you could do is hand Marshall the ball. And I told him at halftime, we're going to come out and run football. He buckled his helmet up in the locker room. And out the field we go.
Coach March was like, hey, we're going to come to you, we're going to come to you, we're going to come to you some more. Coach March ran him so much. He had snot bubbles in his nose.
By a big margin. This is Marshall Faulk. Touchdown.
Hands to Faulk, up the middle, banging, spinning. Is he in? Yes. Yeah, touchdown.
Game on the line. Who we going to? Y'all know who we going to.
The St. Louis Rams are Super Bowl bound. For the 2nd time in 3 years, the Rams are champions of the National Football Conference.
They had no chance. They shouldn't have been on the field with us. We felt like we had an advantage. We had been there. It was going to be a fun one.
Faulk gets out of bounds.
The number 1 weapon on that team for us was Faulk. Every time he came out of the backfield or lined up, whether he got the ball or not, he was going to get hit.
They did everything they could because they understood how special he was.
His run average was still like 4.5 or 5 yards per carry in that game. We just weren't able to be patient enough to just let him take that game over.
What a stunner here in Super Bowl 36. The Rams were 14-point favorites to win this football game.
Every game that I had ever won in New Orleans, I had won as the enemy. And to have that game be at home and not be the enemy and to lose it, it was painful.
He was the greatest, most unselfish player that I've ever seen. A guy that was ultimately just happy for our team success and ultimately happy for the success of other guys. And that to me is what leadership's all about. It's about how you lead and showing this team that we're all about team. It always starts with your greatest players. If they show that and display that, it becomes easier for everybody else. And that's exactly who Marshall Faulk was.
2nd and goal. Delayed handoff. Faulk picks his way into the end zone. Touchdown. Faulk, a career high in receptions, 110 total yards, most of that through the air. Now 1st and goal from the 8. Delayed handoff to Faulk. Still on his feet. What a run. Marshall Faulk, simple little draw, gets clogged up. How he is able to come out of this. Unbelievable.
That time they had Yul Murphy lined up where Faulk would normally line up. Now Marshall from his normal position, untouched to the end zone. So they go 91 yards.
Handoff to Faulk running right. Bounces outside. Marshall Faulk down the sidelines and out of bounds.
They toss it to Marshall Faulk. He'll sweep left, cuts it up. Big hole, 45. Raiders territory at the 40. It's a foot race. 30, 25, and brought down by Ron Woodson. Bulger hands to Marshall Faulk, trying to cut outside left. Spun down, breaks the tackle. Coming inside. 30,
25, 20, the stiff arm, 15, inside the 10, 5, and dives to the 1-yard line.
See something or what?
What an effort by Marshall Faulk.
32 yards. God almighty, see something?
He turns a 5-yard loss into a 32-yard gain.
And here we go.
And Marshall Faulk straight through.
This is pretty bad.
One man to beat now, and Springs makes the saving tackle at the 43-yard line. On second down and goal, the blitz is coming. Bulger saw it. Faulk into the end zone for a touchdown.
It's an obvious thing when you play against a great player like Marshall Faulk. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. And the Rams are serving him up, and Seattle is doing nothing to contain him.
Yeah. Keep talking to him about wrapping Faulk up.
Yeah.
Just reaching and grabbing. Let's go get him with the legs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's big, he's elusive. If he gets you out in space, you're going to miss him.
They toss it to Marshall Faulk. Sweeping far side, cuts it back. 10, 5, touchdown, 28. What else can Marshall Faulk do for this football team?
Faulk scoots through into the open field. Marshall Faulk makes a move on Mike Brown. Big play by Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk has really struggled for a year and a half. You get a big run like that, all of a sudden everybody looks at the stats and say, hey, Marshall's back.
So a first down and a great starting field position for St. Louis. And they hand to Marshall Faulk. Faulk with a big run, looking for the end zone. One play, one touchdown.
Yeah, we're starting to see Marshall Faulk back. The quickness is there, and no question about it.
First down and goal, and they hand off to Faulk, running left. Marshall Faulk, and now 6th, all alone on the all-time touchdown list. On first down, Marshall Faulk. Little spin around, still on his feet.
Get out of here.
Looking for a block. One man to beat, and Faulk has had a huge day.
That was Barry Sanders-like right there.
Wow. I mean, there was nothing. It was over. It was game, set, and match, and he just kept spinning.
And off is to Faulk. He will cruise for his 3rd of the day. Now 5th, all alone on the all-time touchdown list.
Well, you don't go to as many Pro Bowls and make as many All-Pro teams as he does without being pretty good.
Faulk in the backfield, Faulk the call, and a touchdown. Marshall Faulk has the ability to blow up at times and turn into a power back. Week in and week out, why is it it's always him being tackled horribly? It's because he's so powerful. From the 10, Bulger, here comes Tony Williams again, there's the catch. It's caught for a touchdown, and that is Marshall Faulk's 2nd touchdown today.
And here comes pressure, it's picked up, and Bulger's pass, and it is caught by Marshall Faulk for the first down, and out of bounds. And here it is, Marshall Faulk diving inside, touchdown. Marshall Faulk, who is summoning up all the energy that made him a champion years ago. 4th and goal. Faulk, he's got to bounce it, and he'll cruise in. Touchdown Rams. And Marshall Faulk moved up that record ladder there, passing Chris Carter for the most all-time touchdowns.
Marshall Faulk is the back. He gets the handoff on the delay. Faulk across the 30 to the 35, making a missed gain of 18 on first down.
This is Marshall Faulk off left tackle. Marshall Faulk in the clear to 20. 25-30, Marshall Faulk pushed out of bounds. Marshall Faulk moving up the NFL charts.
Passes Barry Sanders for 6th place on the all-time NFL list of total yards.
They split Faulk to the left. He makes the catch. He beats the tackle and scores.
MVP of the league, a Super Bowl ring. You know, what else do you say?
Well, he may not be the #1 back anymore for the St. Louis Rams, but Marshall Faulk still has an awful lot left in the tank.
He still has it. He still has the ability to make the moves, make guys miss. He wants to take advantage of that this year, feels that he can be fresh in this role.
Here's Bulger. Safety valve. Sets it up nicely. Marshall Faulk. Touchdown, St. Louis.
We use the term in the NFL, great player, too often. And there's a lot of other very good ones, not many that ever compared with him.
It's not supposed to happen like this, Jack. It's not supposed to be this easy.
You put pads on this guy, and he's like no other player I've ever seen.
Marshall Faulk can make a play
when not many little things were done well. The gifted people take the design of things beyond the design.